and Arianna, top Lisbon blogger, is going to be interviewing me. So I'm just going to set the camera up. Let me see how it is. Probably should be like, if I bought my tripod, yeah, that's probably better, yeah.
I have another end if you want.
Yeah?
Try.
Okay. Tiago is literally the man of all trades. Okay, so here we are, we're starting the interview. Arianna's going to ask me some questions.
So, I want to know, what is your fashion inspiration?
My fashion inspiration, I suppose there's nothing more than I love when I have time than to get Vogue and a cup of a cappuccino, and like that to me is just like amazing, you know. I'll just sit down and flick through the pages of Vogue, and it's not that I want to buy the designers that they're showing me, but I want to emulate the style with either what I already have at home in my wardrobe, or from vintage shops, or even charity shops, you know, going round, because some vintage shops can actually be quite expensive for what it is. So I like to go to like charity shops where people are throwing away clothes, you know, and it's really cheap. And when I find something that looks similar, like a similar shape or a similar pattern or polka dots or the colour, and I love, you know, like when my eyes go into the shop, like just going through with my eyes, like scanning what I think, oh, I like that pattern, and pulling it out. And when I do that, it's like I found treasure, you know,
yeah,
like it's like, oh, it's an amazing feeling. So I definitely get inspiration from the pages of Vogue. I also love Pinterest, Tumblr, you know. I like the 90s genre, so I like to type into Tumblr, you know, 90s style, and then that's coming up. And a lot of the high street stores are trying to do 90s fashion, and I think that's great too. And I will get one or two pieces, but I definitely like to mix it all together, you know. So yeah, I'd say my inspiration is drawn from Vogue, Pinterest and Tumblr.
And the coffee.
And coffee. Lots of coffee.
Okay, how you best describe your style?
Okay, I would say my style is eclectic, which means like a mixture of everything. Sometimes and also my fashion changes with my haircut or my hairstyle. So sometimes I'm blue, like my hair's blue, or it's purple. If it's like lilac, I like to be like a bit like Marilyn Monroe, like a sort of edgy Marilyn, you know. And then when I'm blue, I like grunge, you know, so I think like 90s Nirvana and Chicago and those sort of scenes. And then now it's like short, and so I dress around, and also how I feel, you know. I like putting things together, and I think my style changes, definitely. I wouldn't say I'm like one particular style. I'd say that I love to change it, you know, because then it keeps it exciting.
That's great. What is your favorite designer?
Okay, my favorite designers are Moschino. I love Moschino. I really like Celine, not so much for their clothes, but I love that they put models in beautiful clothes that are sort of like, you can see their imperfections. Not that they're in, you know, in any way not perfect, but that some fashion houses over over Photoshop. They over pick the models,
Yeah.
cast the models to unobtainable images. I like that Celine can keep it a bit different, you know. I love also, you know, a cliche Chanel, just for the history, you know, because I love vintage, I love history, and I love Coco Chanel, that in a time when women were not seen as like powerhouses, they were sort of an extension of their man, you know, but she really, in, you know, after the war, brought women's fashion and women, you know, women as a whole to the front. And yeah, I love Chanel. Let me think who else I really like. I like Henry Holland. He's English, and he's cool. He's like an English designer. He's sort of like hangs out with the edgy. There's an edgy model. She's really cool. Her name is Agnes Dean. Everyone calls her Aggie. She is like, I just love her. She just looks so cool, you know. Yeah, who else? I don't really like over the top like glamour, you know. I don't.
The clean brands.
Yeah, I'm not into like all that. I like contrast, you know, of beauty and imperfection like together. I like that, you know.
Like museums. Do you have a beauty or a fashion idol?
Okay. There's another English model, and her name is Elise Delisle. Elise Delisle, yeah, I don't even know if that's how you say it, but she's very cool. She's like from a wealthy family, but she's like got half of her head shaved and like, you know, really long sort of like.
Oh, I know.
Do you know the one I mean?
Yeah.
She's quite punky, you know, and I just think like I love it when people have their own style and they're brave, you know, like they're, you know, I'm not going to dress that way, I'm going to do what I think's cool, you know. And sometimes, like, I think if my mum saw me with like whole tights and like, you know, all that, she'd be like, Lauren, no, you know. But I think it's cool when people are just different and themselves, you know. So who else do I love, like Audrey Hepburn and Marilyn Monroe. Who else? I like Agnes Dean, like I said. Yeah, I've got loads, but I just can't think of them right now.
Kate Moss.
Yeah, Kate Moss. Yeah, definitely. She's like the pinnacle of like English, you know, old school fashion, and she brought rock and roll.
Yeah.
You know, I like that she brought rock and roll.
Next question is, okay, how is fashion in your country? So, like the best brands and the fashion sense.
Yeah. Okay, where I'm from, it's like a tiny little island. So there we haven't had any like brands come out of there. But as for its style, I've noticed like over the years, like I see the youth now, you know, and they're really pushing it, and I think they're really getting like inspiration from London, and they're going out and finding more things. And I think with my shop, Luella Rockerfella, I see a lot of like boys and girls, you know, that want to make their own style and they want to be creative, and they already have their own style, but they want me to find their, you know, the things that they love. So I just try to keep up to date with how things are moving in London, and, you know, in scenes. I love scenes, you know, I love like punk, grunge, 90s, 80s.
I see in your Instagram like the scene in the how I say it, the bar. Como é que se diz? Vou ter que interromper. Como é
Diz-me.
que se diz como é aqui aquele bar onde tem o Elvis?
Hard Rock? Hurly Rockerfella?
Não, aquele onde nós às vezes fomos comer que também se come hambúrgueres.
Não é o Hard Rock? O que o Marco também
Mas como
come.
é que se chama esses bares?
Bistro Bars. Será? Não.
Like a 18th bar, you have a photo shoot.
Oh
On your
yeah,
Instagram.
yeah. I know. Yeah, I know what
It's
you mean.
amazing,
In like
I love
an
it.
American.
Thematic?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
temáticos.
American
Temáticos.
No, American Diner.
Ah, ok, American
Yeah,
Diner. Ok,
yeah. I absolutely love doing photo shoots. You know, I love having an idea and then trying to find the models that go with that idea, putting the clothes together, finding the makeup artist, creating a look with the makeup artist, creating a look with the hairstylist. I just think that's what keeps me like, I just love it. And one of my idols that I should have really just said then is, her name is Sophia Amoruso. And she owned a vintage store that she set up on eBay on her own, just like a little shop where she just sold vintage. She was a high school dropout. She never lasted in any job, and she like slowly not slowly, actually quite quickly it grew, and it grew like how we're trying to do, you know, like following and from a vintage eBay shop now, like her company is called Nasty Girl, and it is a multi-million pound company.
Wow.
Where they have like 350 people working for them. It's a huge corporation in LA. So I think that is just like so inspiring to really not listen to people saying you're not good in school, or you know you're not good in this job, and then you know still having self-belief and like going for it. That like
You get it.
that really inspires me. I forgot the question. I
No,
talk
you
too
answer
much.
me. You answer me. Is how is fashion in your country? There's like best friends and
Yeah.
fashion sense.
Yeah, so in Jersey, that's what's happening now. In London and in England, I'd say like we have like the main power fashion houses, you know, which is like Burberry and you know your big designers. But then, as I said before, Henry Holland, and there's it's a massive scene. Like I think in different towns, not towns, but in London, there's loads of little like. God, I keep getting this far. This is live. Yeah, there's loads of like little, I don't even know what you call them, villages within London, you know, that have like their own sort of like individuality. So you've got like your hipster, and that's sort of like Shoreditch and East London. Then your South London, you know, it's like it's a bit of a mixture, and then you've got like your North, like your Camden, it's very like vintage or punky or grungy. And yeah, as I said, I love subcultures. I love people that can like identify with like that's what they are, so they're going to like go with that and explore it within that subculture. I think that's really cool. So yeah, I think Britain has loads going on in fashion, and yeah, I love it.
I have to go London.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, maybe we can meet there.
Yeah, of course. The end.
All done. Cool.
Oh my god, my English is very bad.